Welcome back, Flat Earth Philosophy. We're talking, well, check out video 1. Never really got to the religious stuff, but I was going to talk about some religious stuff. Oh, to do with the Bible, that's what we're talking about. The olive leaf. The last video cut short because of the battery. So anyway, we're talking about the olive leaf. Represents the Earth. Earth's magnetic flux. There's Earth through the centre. Do people know that? The book of science. Physics, metaphysics. So there's the olive leaf, and then we talk about the field in Genesis, and we're talking about the beast and the cattle, right? And the serpent, and what I've said all along for the last so many years in my videos is that the serpent represents the magnetic field, the flow of the magnetic field over the earth. That's the infinity symbol. Okay? Out of there, down, up, down. No. Out of there, down, along there, up there, down there, along there, back up there. That's the figure. There's the 8. Okay? So, and then they start talking about God said, oh, well, you'll dwell on the ground or something or other. Anyway, along the ground thou shalt dwell, over the fields, over the field, over the cattle and the beasts. Field, they use the word field, but the cattle and the beast. In a magnet we have two forces, a weak and a strong force. Strong force and a weak force. That's why they're seeking out each other all the time, trying to find equilibrium. What's the strong force? Is the beast. What's the weak force? Is the cattle. Over the cattle and the beast you shall go. It's the magnetic field of Earth. That's another world first. No one knows that stuff. So anyway, I've made a lot of notes as usual. So I'll just run over all my notes in the last couple of weeks, or week or so. We'll talk about everything. We've got Rome being the centre of Greece. What the heck? Mars is the founder of the twin Romulus and Remus, counterpart of Greek Aries. Well, Mars is the founder of the twins Romulus and Remus. Romulus and Remus. And up here in the centre is Mars. You know, in the planetary cycles, the sun's back here in the black hole, we get Mercury in Aries. Mercury, Aries, what? Is that Mars? Mars. There's Saturn, Jupiter, Mars. Am I missing one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's it. That's it. We don't need that one. There's Saturn, Jupiter, Mars. Mars is at the centre. Okay, Mars is here. The centre, between them, and it's red. Well, the red represents iron, ionisation. Remember, they're all for science. This is the ionisation. Ionising up here. Mars. I'm not going too deep with all this stuff. Red from iron. Rome, god of war. War, because all the action is up here. It's the Trojan War. Rome, god of war. Protector of Rome. Jupiter, Mars, Juno. I've got Jupiter, Mars, Juno for some reason. Father of Rome's founding twins. The father, because there's the father back in the hole. What's this one? We've got the sun, pure helium. I've gone colour chart. We've gone helium, argon. So the helium's pure white light. Argon, purple. Neon, blue. Below that's krypton, representing iron or Mars. I've got red. Xenon, white blue. So you're getting closer. And it's the other way around. Radon, heaviest gas known. Agonizon. Agonizon being the moon. So the highest pressure is down here, isn't it? It thins out right up here to helium. So you've got the noble gases, okay? And colours. The tokamak reactor, the heart of the tokamak is this donut-shaped vacuum chamber. Vacuum chamber, groom's chamber in religion. It's all physics. The vacuum chamber. The Bible talks about the groom's chamber, the moon going into the sun close to the black hole. Dry ice burns. That's the fire. Cold fusion. Dry ice burns. Minus 108 to negative 78. Minus 78. Magnets are made up of atoms aligned between the poles. Heat equals speed. So dry ice. It's cold fusion. That's room temperature. It's going to be pretty flippin' hot amongst 200 something minus degrees or thereabouts. Mentioned that before. Helium becomes liquid. Helium, the combined hydrogen atoms create the sun. Comes back into contraction, expansion as it rises, goes into contraction, into helium, and the helium gas becomes liquid at minus 268 degrees. So it's probably minus 268 degrees up here somewhere, or the sun, don't know. But it's creating the mist that falls back down to Earth. Guess what the attachment is with that and the Hawaiian mythological stories? Or the Hawaiian, Rapa Nui, the Maori. You go into it, you find, what's the word? I'll get to that word. I'll find the connection. I hope I don't forget it. Okay. So from that is mist coming from the sun. That's the pure hydrogenated water falling back down to the Buford Gaia. God and my right. So we know the British coat of arms is in French. Why is that? Yeah. If you believe the story about King Richard. King Richard, was he really a person or not? I don't know, but he's referring to enlightenment. And what is written on the coat of arms? God and my right. Obviously you don't have any rights anymore thanks to the corporation. They've taken them all away from you at birth certificate. Owed his crown to only God and himself. Came into being through himself. This is in religion. King Richard, he knew all this. It's in French. Dieu et Montreot. Montreot. Dieu et Montreot. Yeah, anyway. Womb to tomb. Don't know if you can see that. Start looking at that. Womb to tomb. It's all connected. You could say it's connected to the goat, the ram's head. Even those little creatures, those care rabbits, what do you call them? Thing bears, whatever. So look at that picture. You look at it here. You can still get this vortex thing happening here, but it's shaped like that basically. The swastika, I've got gas at the top, liquid the bottom, hydrogenated water liquid, the gas, ice, ice. So you've got the three states of water. The spiral, the helix up here, nodal points, antinodals. Yeah. Right, what have we got here? So the rising water molecules and the dielectric constant is the dielectric constant. Rising molecule. Installing a dielectric is to increase the capacitance. You put the dielectric plate in there, increases the capacitance. So the charge is increasing, but the voltage stays the same. You could say the Earth is a capacitor. It's feeding this energy cycle, the magnetic field here. But look into that, capacitance. So the dielectric insert increases the charge on the two plates by taking some of its energy, this having to compensate by adding more charge. So this takes a little bit of this here, it's got to feed it more energy, but the voltage stays the same because there's only so much in the whole system. Anyway, you look into that. Capacitor, there it is again, same voltage as being feeding. Non-conductive material, which is the dielectric in here, non-conductive. The dielectric will always increase the capacitance. This is why the gaps in the magnetic induction motors. It increases the capacitance, which they call that electromagnetic force. Dielectric becomes polarized. The dielectric becomes polarized, but water is already polarized. So I was talking about earlier on, was that the first video, about difference between ionization and electrolysis. Same thing's happening up here. To understand this gap, mate, is everybody. The hidden secrets to the universe. The EL-lumination effect. The spinning ballers like to use that and make out I don't know what I'm talking about. The Coriolis effect is the horizontal curving the magnetic field. It's the moving of the magnetic field, the toroidal field. It's just the way things go. It's the curving effect. But as you get closer to the tropics here, it curves and then starts dipping down. And it's connected with that dipping down, and then they go into the forces between, because everything's, curving this way, isn't it? The magnetic fields are going like this. From the south around like this, heading that way. This is going around heading that way. So within the EL-lumination effect, they're telling us the force is freely moving that way, as opposed to pushing against the force that way. But look into that, the EL-lumination effects, you understand that when these spinning ballers start bringing it up. So because you've got your field, your Coriolis, and then you got, comes down. I'm thinking it's coming down, it's connected to it. And it's when they're looking into all this, knowing the forces are going that way, and what the opposing force is doing and all that sort of thing. Realise granite is 20 to 140 miles deep. And the subterranean aqueduct, well, the water that's flowing from this Beaufort Guide deep down through the earth all the way to the tropics might, that might be about 3 miles deep. But the molecules, they still come through the gas, the atomic molecules, they'll come through the earth. rise up through this low pressure area. So only a couple of degrees fall from there all the way to here. From there to get to the tropics, which travels around the tropics. That's the water, because it represents this vortex in creation. It's where the kinetic energy is created. We've got Amunet, Mat, hidden. Amunet, hidden. Amunet in Egyptian mythology. We've got Babi, baby. The baboon, baby. Baby, eggs. You've seen the egg and the baby shape I've done in my previous videos. The sun on the horizon of the black hole creates the egg or the baby's body, or the baby involved with the spiritual rebirth, born again, go into a fetal position, this whole thing. Emmet, the devourer. The devourer gets sucked into the black hole, be reincarnated. You get dispersed, all your spirit, all your energy gets dispersed, and you come through the recycling system to have another go. Or if you're lucky, you go into the sun and you stay up here as on the right hand, into the kingdom of God, on the right hand side of God. Cerberus, Greoboros, Greek, flesh devouring. It's the flesh devouring, basically, not flesh though, because your body stays dead down here. Your spirits go up and get flushed through here for reincarnation. Brass, done this up. Oh. Brass, expansion and contraction, as above, so below. So what is Earth's expansion and contraction? We know that, I've done that before. Expansion, as you go up through the gaseous layers. Drawn to the tropical centre, pulled into here. Contraction. Everything on Earth is created through compression. So science thinks everything must be smashed and compressed. LOL. No. Expansion, through expansion, the vacuum, then sucked through the contraction to form the energy. That's the plasma that's going to be created in the centre of the tokamak, not out around its donut. They're wasting billions of dollars and a lot of time not doing it properly. How many people know that you've got 23.4 degrees between the tropics here, and what's the remainder out here? What's the remainder? 66.6 degrees. 66.6 degrees. He who knows. I was talking earlier about the beasts, the snake, the magnetic field, the beast. The beast is a strong force, the cattle is the weak force. 66 degrees. Magnetic field, physics. Okay? Understand that. What's the end of times? Rubbish. End of times is the end of, is the dawning. Prior to the dawning of man's awakening. Maybe connected to the man who comes with an iron rod. But I've described that, haven't I? There's always two meanings or three meanings to these stories. Memory gets wiped unless you open your third person. Ancients knew this. These were the kings. Make a proton that feeds the sun from many electrons. Well, the proton feeds the sun. The pairing of the electrons feeds the whole. The whole and the sun are one. State of rest, that's equilibrium, electrons pairing. In science, neon aids fusion. What's up there? Neon gas. Aiding fusion of the hydrogen atoms into helium, into the sun. Spotless and pure, neon aiding fusion. Does neon mean spotless and pure? Well, what's more pure than pure hydrogenated water? A. Carroll is the leader. Well, here we go. Hotu matua. Hotu matua. Hotu matua. What does it mean? It means is the leader who weeps. This is the connection. The sun that weeps, the mist that comes back down to the Buford Gaia. All the ancients do this. It's back in Hotu Matua. It's connected with Hawaiian mythological stories. Maori, Rapa Nui, Easter Island. The leader who weeps, the leader. The sun is the leader of the whole system. The leader who weeps. The hydrogen gas liquefies, or helium liquefies, comes back to water. Everything starts from water, it finishes with water. Walter Russell tell you that, or just you mentioned light? Olive leaf, we've been over that. Beast and cattle, weak force, strong force. Right, we've gone through it all. Those were all my notes for the last week. My notes. Hope you all enjoyed. Information you never heard before, I can guarantee that. I think I finally attached my Patreon. Oh well, my Patreon page was attached to my YouTube initially. Then it wasn't. Then I asked for them to help me out. They never get back to you. They're pathetic, eh? Patreon. It's just a maze. They say you do this and you do that. You go on YouTube, do this and do that. Well, I've got none of that access. None of it on my computer, phone. None of those things show up. I don't know what's going on. But finally they answered me and I attached it. So I think it might be attached now. But don't join up yet till I get it going and understand how the silly thing works. It's just a nightmare trying to work it out, and there's no help. You want to know a question, they just give you a list of answers to all these other questions, nothing to do with what you're inquiring about. So once I get that Patreon working and I understand it, I will be putting all this information from the Iliad onto my Patreon page in a tier system, or I just wipe Patreon and go some other system. Anyway, I'm off for a walk down to the calf along the water shore. Enjoy yourselves today. Au revoir.